Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Clinch. We are excited to bring you our UFC 205 recap. Got Keith on the show, as always, and Dave Chicken Parm Stewart, as always. All right, did you guys want to make any announcements now, or do you want to hop right into the cards and get into the big stuff later?
Hey, brother.
What do you want to do, Keith?
Whatever you guys want to do. It's up to you.
We could do maybe one announcement now and then save one for the end if you would like.
Okay. All right. You want I didn't know we had two announcements.
Yeah.
You got to tell them about the 12-hour marathon. Not everybody's heard about it yet.
You tell them a little bit about that, and I'll tell a little more about it.
That's the big news, and then we'll tell the bigger news later.
All right. So tonight and tomorrow there's a doubleheader of UFCs. There's also a Bellator. It's a crazy weekend, but even more crazy than anything are the MMA Takeovers.com's partnership with the Jimmy Farm. We're doing 12 straight hours of Chicken Parm himself. We'll be talking MMA starting at little afternoon, 12:15, going to at least 12:15 at night, possibly later. So we did it to raise money for charity. So half the money will be going to the Jimmy Fund. If you don't know what the Jimmy Fund is, Jimmy Fund is an organization in Boston that raises money to help fight cancer. Anybody who's from this area would know all about the Jimmy Fund. They've been a partner with the Red Sox forever, since like Ted Williams days. Excuse me. So yeah, well, we obviously we're kicking off this company. We want it to be big, but we also want to be generous. I know I've said that a bunch of times, but I'm pretty proud of us that haven't even been open for 2 weeks, and we're already giving back. We raised close to $500 already. Hopefully we're gonna get some more in. On the show, we're gonna have me and Dave's gonna be calling the fights from in Belfast and the fights from UFC in Brazil. We also gonna have people call in. We're gonna have hopefully gonna get all the guys from the and then we're gonna have some other surprises that I think Dave will announce a little bit later. So yeah, it should be good times. If you have any topics you'd like to discuss, because obviously we're gonna be killing 12 hours, we can pretty much talk about anything and talk about. Don't leave us with too much free air, or we'll start talking politics and religion. So
please don't. All right, from there, let's hop into. We'll get into those prelims for UFC 205. Loaded card. I loved it. I'm sure you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. We'll hop into the Fight Pass prelims, and the first fight was Liz Carmouche winning by decision over Katlyn Chookagian.
Go ahead, Dave. I'll let you go first.
I mean, this is what a way to start off the best card in the world with two female fighters. It was not exciting whatsoever, in my opinion. The round 3 was probably the best round because I think Katlyn knew she was down and she came out trying to get the finish. But Carmouche would just take her down easily. Carmouche was the better fighter tonight. And Chookagian, I liked what she was doing in the third round. She was mixing it up. She was trying different things, but Carmouche was just the better fighter, and she picked up the first win in MMA history in Madison Square Garden in a while. So I'm happy that Gorilla got the victory.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the overall grand scheme of New York, I mean, it was a pretty this is going to go on as a historic night. Not even just obviously because of the results in the main event and triple title fights. So, you know, one of the most loaded cards, probably the most loaded card in history of MMA. But just a milestone. I mean, this is a sport that on pay-per-view was banned from the TV, and I had to look play-by-play results on websites like SureDog and the Underground and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, it's historic now that we're in, you know, the biggest, most famous arena in America. And what's cool is another milestone is the first fight ever in a women's fight. And who would have guessed that 4 years ago? And that's credit to people like Ronda Rousey and Misha Tate and the fight itself. I was surprised how jacked she looked. I've never seen her look that fit before. Yeah, she won because of her wrestling. Chookagian is a prospect I still like. I still like Chookagian. I think maybe the City kind of got to her a little bit, being the first fight of the night. I like her. I think she's a pretty decent prospect. I think one day she'll get in our top 10. I mean, when she in the third round, she displayed her striking, almost knocking Liz Carmouche out. Yeah, not a good stylistic matchup. She needs someone who's going to stand. But Carmouche was able to get inside, get the takedowns, and it was a nice win by Carmouche.
Right, I agree, fellas. We'll slide on over to Jim Miller versus Thiago Alves. Miller winning by decision, and it seemed like his wrestling was too much for Alves. 4 for 5 on takedowns, and seemed to really have his way with him.
Well, I have to apologize because for the picks that we do, we each give a lock pick, an upset pick, and the fight of the night. I actually thought this would be fight of the night, and boy, was I wrong for sure. I'm glad that Miller taught Thiago a lesson for missing weight. You know, I'm glad that Alves didn't get the win, because that would have just been an asterisk on the UFC 205 card. Miller looked good. You know, he's from New Jersey, fighting right around the corner. I mean, these two guys, they're going to win one, lose one, win one, and lose one. They're both on the tail end of their careers, but I'm happy that Jim Miller got a victory against a guy that can't make weight and can't, keep his word.
Yeah, the other day I was talking to a very casual MMA fan and a McGregor fan, saying I was his favorite, this and that, and then he asked me who my favorite fighter was, and I couldn't come up with one. I don't have a favorite fighter. The media style of me, where I try to be very biased. I try to see the fights. My all-time favorite fighter is Randy Couture. But since he's retired, no one's really taken that place in my heart. The reason why I'm saying that is I tend to not really root for people generally. I usually try to just watch the fight as it is. But I rooted for Jim Miller in this fight, even though I took Thiago Alves to win. I rooted for Jim Miller just because when guys miss weight, it pisses me off. It's unprofessional. Jim Miller win close to his hometown. I thought, obviously he controlled the wrestling. That was a difference. Thiago Alves is a guy that he's trying to hang on at the end of his career. He's trying to do anything to stay relevant, dropping down weight when this is a guy who's missed weight at 170 and struggled many times at 170. Trying to make 155 was insane. And the thing about his game is he was never a great technical fighter. Even stuff he did on his feet was more just being a pure, just wonderful athlete. And as he's aging, and between the wars he's had, the injuries he's had, drugs, different things like that, not there anymore. He's just not gonna just overwhelm people with his physicality. So, Jim Miller just showed that he's a much more technical, more well-rounded fighter. And now Jim Miller, I think he's won 2 or 3 fights in a row and making a comeback for all the New Jersey fans, all people like Justin.
Hey, no, I rooted for Miller as well. Like you said, it's something about when somebody misses weight, it's just so unprofessional. And yeah, I'm going to root against you. It doesn't matter who you are. I'm going to root against you in that fight.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen, I was actually when I came in late. I was reading about it. Zach Cummings missed weight for the Belfast card. He missed it by I think like just over a pound. I think it was less than a pound. And Ian McCall has had his fight scrapped for the 3rd time in a row in the last 4 months. On the week of the fight, he got sick. His opponent did weigh in. He didn't weigh in himself. and the fight was scrapped. I don't think it was a weight issue because Ian McCall's a veteran. He's been around forever. He's been fighting at featherweight even before he was in the UFC. But yeah, that's a third time. And the worst thing is, the really sad thing is he was fighting Neil Seery in Ireland. Neil Seery's from Ireland. He announced that he was retiring after this fight. He announced that he's not going to retire now. The guy who's was supposed to end his career in his hometown doesn't get to do that. So
that's crazy.
All right, we'll slide over into the Fox Sports 1 prelims. And one of the more vicious knockouts of the night, too, is how we kicked it off. Vicente Luque certainly remembered the name of Balam Muhammad and made him forget his own.
This was the when this fight ended, I was 0-3 with my pick, so I was having a terrible night picking. I did not think that Vicente would come in on such short notice and knock out remember the name. I mean, and he looked like he was like they needed to get the police in there to just put a body bag over Muhammad. He looked like he was. I mean, he still may be in MSG after that knockout punch. But
I was legitimately concerned. They didn't even put him on camera after.
Yeah, that was
the initial thing. I was concerned.
That was very brutal. I'm just shocked. That's a terrible way for me to go 0-3. But I mean, both these guys will come back. They're still young. They're still great fighters. So I hope we can still remember the name soon, and a nice big win for Vincent.
Yeah, Balam Muhammad, I was impressed with him when he took on Aljamain on short notice. Aljamain, I think, is a really good fighter, good veteran, and obviously he was tagged several times, was rocked, and actually fought back, almost came back and knocked out Joban, was really dictating the fight in the third round. So I was really impressed with Balam Muhammad that night. Which is, to me, is a credit to Vicente Luque, because Muhammad showed the kind of punch he can take, and Vicente Luque is supposed to be a ground fighter. He's supposed to be known for his jiu-jitsu. Devastating knockout, beautiful. I mean, real quick, got it done. What a statement to make. Probably, this is the most watched. They're saying it's the most watched Fox Sports prelims, so millions of people got to see it. One thing I noticed about Luque is just how huge he's for the weight class. He looks like a light heavyweight fighting at welterweight. I mean, if his stand up is for real and he has a power match with the ground game, we could be looking at somebody challenging our top 10 rankings soon. So I hope they boost him up, get him a little better opponent, and see how real Luque is. But I'm watching him. I kind of put a little star next to him as someone to watch.
There you go. You heard it here first, folks. That's your fighter to watch from Keith Robert.
Yeah.
We'll move on over into Tim Bosch, another first-round finish, winning by knockout over Rafael Natal.
Yeah.
Great fight. Great fight. Best fight of the night. I'm glad that the Barbarian got the win. I did tweet him out, so I feel like I'm half responsible. So thanks, Tim, for winning on me and yours behalf. This was just a fight that both guys are just past their prime, but we're still a big fan of Tim. Maybe he's got a little more gas left in the tank, but very nice. That's after that's 2 knockouts in a row after he beat Josh Salmon and then Rafa Natal. So Tim Boetsch is bringing back the knockout train. He's already got 2 victims. Let's see if he can go for 3.
Yeah, Tim Boetsch, he wasn't that too long ago where he was trying to do the same thing as Thiago Alves, trying to extend his career, but he did the opposite. He went up in weight class, went up to light heavyweight. It didn't work out for him. He went against Ed Shortfuse Herman. The night Ed Shortfuse Herman was going to take over MMA. What's that? Did you guys hear something? Oh, sorry.
That's
okay. We gotta get a sound.
So I didn't want to answer him. I felt like it was going to be a terrible joke, so I didn't want to say anything.
It was like this jet or something, but it was starting from like really far away, and I hit his helmet, and then all of a sudden it was like really loud. Yeah, this is stuff we're going to talk about when we have our own studio, and we get the sound thing. We're flying the fighters into come here. Yeah, I don't know. It's down. So I lost my train of thought. Yeah, no, Tim Boetsch, it wasn't that long ago. He was a top 10 fighter. He's a grinder. He steps in the pocket. Rafael Natal is a much more technical fighter. But Tim Boetsch was able to suck him into a fight, especially in the phone booth where Tim Boetsch has serious power. Boetsch, I root for Tim Boetsch. He just seems like a likable guy. You know, some of his fights, his comeback win against Yushin Okami is to me is one of the best comebacks ever. Yeah, I mean, but it is what it is. It's the guys. He's got to win one. He's got to lose one. To watch, he's never boring.
You know, Boetsch looks like a guy that, if you just look at him, he looks like a heavyweight, and in the smaller man's body, it's like there's nothing. I don't know how I want to phrase this. He doesn't look like somebody who's set to go 3 rounds and really compete, but it's always a fun fight to watch, like you said.
Hey, just be careful, you know.
Yeah, he does.
He may or may not be on the MMA marathon, so you just be careful what you say.
I don't want to call anybody fat and get knocked out, so I'm gonna move on to the next fight.
Is that like short? Is it like short, stocky look, like an old 1980s wrestler style, where they weren't like, you know, when they were obviously muscular, but they weren't like the most like exact bodybuilding. You know what I mean? Like a hacksaw Duggan or a bushwhacker, like one of those kind of bodies.
All right, we'll move on to Khabib Nurmagomedov winning by submission over Michael Johnson, and really dominated the fight from start to finish. What notes do you guys have on this?
You want to take it, Keith?
So my upset pick didn't work. I picked Michael Johnson to pull up the biggest upset of the year, and I was looking like a genius for the first 2 minutes of the fight, where Khabib stood up with Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson's hands are fantastic. Khabib's wrestling is unbelievable. His determination to get the takedown. There was times where if you see when he shot in on Michael Johnson stuffed the takedown, but he would what in wrestling we call reshooting, or he'd change an angle. Like he wouldn't even, as soon as Michael Johnson thought he stopped the takedown, Khabib would be on another angle and taking him down. And his ground game is relentless. I mean, video and where he was smashing up Michael Johnson, and he was talking to him, and he was like, "You quit now. Stop. You quit now. You must quit. I need to get the title. You got to quit." And then in between rounds, he's talking to Dana White, which is Dana White. And he's like, "I'm gonna smash your boy." Talking about McGregor. I want the title. I'm gonna smash your boy. And Dana White's like, "Finish this fight first." So the guy's unbelievable. I mean, it's a shame that he's had these injuries and he's had so much time off, because I mean, we could be looking at a guy that already is a champion. Right now, I would favor him against anybody in the entire division. McGregor, Alvarez, and anybody. His wrestling is so unbelievable. His pace is unbelievable. I mean, he was teeing off on Michael Johnson, and another thing I was thinking of is if you saw the times once he got taken down that first time, the fight was over. Because when the round started in the second or third round, or any times Michael Johnson was able to get to his feet, Michael Johnson, where he couldn't even throw punches, and because of how much pressure Khabib puts on people, and to go on a little tangent, Michael Johnson's corner should throw the towel. I haven't seen anybody throw the towel in a really long time. It's pretty shame, because he took way too much damage than it should have taken. Ruined guys' careers. I'd be worried about Michael Johnson's chin going forward. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I think Michael Johnson's a pretty talented guy. But this corner's got to be responsible. I mean, especially in the third round. Once you got taken down in the third round, the towel.
I mean, this was this was a great preliminary card. This undercard. I mean, you already had 2 finishes. Then with this fight coming up, you didn't know if it was going to be a finish or if it was just going to be a boring fight. And Khabib did not make it a boring fight whatsoever. I feel really bad for Michael Johnson. He was coming off that high note, knocking out Dustin Poirier. But these are 2 different animals. This is like a college wrestler going against a toddler. I mean, it was embarrassing. I mean, Khabib's the real deal. I mean, I know the injuries is the biggest concern. Is he fights once a year, if that. But you got to give him the shot. I think he did a better performance against Michael Johnson than Tony Ferguson did against Rafael dos Anjos. So I would give it the nod to who goes up against McGregor next, to Khabib. But either way, those guys, it's going to be a hell of a fight. But Conor won't take it because there's no money in either fight. So we're just wasting our breath. But great job for Khabib.
Right, and Keith, you mentioned that Johnson's corner probably should have thrown in the towel, especially in that 3rd round. Were you surprised that he didn't go out? I mean, Nurmagomedov is, he's throwing excellent ground and pound down. Like, was there just pop missing from these punches, or is Johnson's chin just that good? I couldn't tell.
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, it's hard to really get knockout power from on top. You really kind of either have to have the mount, or you have to really sit up in the guard, almost standing up with the guy's legs. You'll see usually the guy was standing up, the guy's legs are crunched back. Khabib actually was getting to the side mount a lot. Surprisingly, he was losing power being in that position, but it sets up more submissions and gets you to better positions later on. That people are not talking about is how much heart Michael Johnson has. I mean, he was trying. He was throwing punches from bottom at times, and he was trying to scramble up. He didn't quit. I mean, eventually he got the submission, but this guy took a beating. Like that was oof. That was kind of, it was getting a little scary at some point. I was getting. I scored the first 2 rounds 10-8. I mean, I had history. I can remember a guy get absolutely rocked on his feet, like Khabib got rocked, and still, in my opinion, get a 10-8 round.
What a lot of the fight looked like, if you've seen A Christmas Story, where Ralphie finally fights Scott Farkas, that's what it looked like to me. Just on top of him wailing. All right, we'll slide on over into Frankie the Answer Edgar winning by decision over who the fuck is that guy, Jeremy Stephens. It wouldn't be. I feel like it wouldn't be a Frankie fight if he didn't get hurt to the point where you think, holy shit, Frankie's going to lose, and then he clears his head and comes back and pretty much dominates from there. I don't know if there's anybody who does that like Frankie. I don't know if there's anybody who recovers from being hurt the way that he does. What were your guys' notes on this fight?
Clearly not Balam Muhammad. He is what he is. I'll start with Jeremy Stephens first. Jeremy Stephens he's not a very technical striker. He's a lot more technical now than he used to be. I mean, it was a nice high kick, followed up with I think he followed up with a left uppercut. It was, or I can't remember what he followed up with, but he had for, I don't know, 10 seconds or so. But that was it. Frankie answered everything he asked. He established a jab. I don't think it was really a good performance by either guy. Yeah, I mean, you get a one-sided decision over a guy ranked in the top 10. I mean, that's still a good win from Frankie Edgar. Frankie Edgar, he jabbed, he used angles, he mixed it in takedowns. Thing I just kept thinking about this fight is how big Jeremy Stevenson was. That's a combination of Jeremy Stevenson being just being a large is being a small featherweight. I'm thankful that you're hearing him talking about moving down to bantamweight again. I think there's a lot more intriguing matchups. I think him versus TJ Dillashaw right away would be a fantastic, number one contender match or something like that. But just think about how good Frankie Edgar is, that about going down to bantamweight, and the UFC title, defended it a couple times. I mean, he had 2 extremely close fights with Benson Henderson, who is the complete opposite, is a huge lightweight. This is a guy who's fought at welterweight. That just shows how crazy tough and crazy, Frankie Edgar. I just heard an interview that Frankie Edgar was saying that, bantamweight is definitely an option unless, McGregor wants to fight. But, I mean, McGregor, if he's coming back to 145, he's fighting Jose Aldo first. So, I mean, that – I really hope he moves on to bantamweight. It'd be nice to see Frankie Edgar against guys his own size.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, Keith. I would say Frankie's now just seeing what's the fastest route to get to the title. And obviously the featherweight division, we may not have a real champion defend his belt for quite some time, which is kind of scary. I guess that's the UFC's mindset now, is just make the money fights and put everything off this side rankings, which is obviously it's working well for him now, but who knows what happens in the long run. I mean, you got great guys like Frankie Edgar sitting here just not knowing what to do next with his career. Does he go up? Does he stay? Because this fight is not wasn't a good fight for a title eliminator. Neither guy looked good, like you said, Keith, but I mean, he's not going to fight Jose Aldo next for the interim title. Stevenson was huge. I mean, he looked like a different fighter when he faced Barao, but there was no doubt in my mind that I thought Frankie Edgar was going to win this fight. I mean, I think everyone saw that Frankie Edgar would do what Frankie Edgar does and just, point his way to win. I'm happy that he got the win. I think he's a New Jersey boy, and so far everyone local or within the New England area picked up the win, but it just stinks for Frankie that he's just he's at the crossroads of his career again. He doesn't know what to do, and it's kind of sad. But hopefully maybe he'll get the title in another weight class, and he'll have another little run like he did earlier on in his career.
He doesn't have a lot of time left either. He's been in the sport for a long time. Obviously, fighters get old overnight. It's not like other sports where you see baseball players' numbers slowly declining over years. Look at Chuck Liddell. Chuck Liddell was, a pound for pound great, and then done in 2 years. Get knocked out by, and again beat by, So that happened to Frankie Edgar. The clock is ticking on Frankie Edgar, and in the wars he's had with. The 2 wars he had with Maynard, the first BJ Penn fight, both Aldo fight. That's a lot of damage he's taken. That and his age, the end is there. So he's got to make the move down to 135. It's just, and also what they were saying, there's nothing there for him at 145. He's not going to fight Jose Aldo a third time. Nobody. Obviously, there's matchups with Max Holloway. But the winner of that is gonna fight for the title. So Frankie Edgar can move down